GameTout! Welcome to GameTout, the show where I tout about video game topics that you want to know. Today's topic: what do you think of the real possibility of a StarTropics sequel? My longtime viewers know that I am a huge StarTropics fan. StarTropics was released on the NES back in, I want to say it was 1990. Don't quote me on that. Or maybe do. I might win $1 million. But it came out in 1990, and it was a really fantastic game that was very similar to Zelda, but it was just like, it was very unique in like the approach that it took. And I'll get into that in a little bit. But I really want to see this game come out for the Nintendo Switch. But I was trying to think to myself, like, what is the possibility of StarTropics actually coming out for any system? Like it didn't do that well in sales. It didn't do really well with the sequel that came out in 1994. But 1994, the sequel came out on the NES. And by that time, Super Nintendo, the Sega Genesis, they were the ones that were on top. I mean, what did I say? 2004? I meant 1994. In 1994, I don't know if I said that right. 1994, there were games like coming out on the Super Nintendo, like Donkey Kong Country, Super Metroid. Okay, what else games came out in 1994? It was a busy freaking year, and those are just like two games that were on the Super Nintendo. So as far as StarTropics 2 Zelda Revenge that came out on the NES, of course it's not going to get that much attention, and I don't think that they thought. I don't even think there was a commercial that was for the game. So yeah, Zelda's Revenge didn't do very well. Part 1, they put a lot of money into advertisements. I remember vividly seeing the commercials come out for the game, and I was like, man, what is this game? I remember watching Nick Arcade. I don't know if you guys are old enough to remember that show, but Nick Arcade, the NPC that they have on the screen, and it's like a game show for kids. But the NPC on the screen that goes through the board and that lands on the things to do the games was Mike from, hey, Alexa, be quiet. I did not say your name. But yeah, on that show they had Mike Jones, which is the lead character on StarTropics, on that show, and it was like, you know, marketing wise, you could tell that they put a pretty penny on it. They went really out of their way to make sure on Nintendo Power and interviews to say that this is basically the new Zelda. Like, it's like they were really going for Zelda, because Zelda was really popular at the time, and then Zelda 2 came out, but it was in 2D, and so everybody was just like, what's going on here? But then this game came out, and it was more like the traditional Zelda, so everybody was like super excited for it. And that's part of the way that they marketed it, was they were like it's like a Zelda killer. Like, they didn't say that because they're not going to go against Zelda, but they were really, like, you know, emphasizing that. To me, this game really felt, it did play like Zelda, but it really felt like it was its own game. Had really corny jokes. It was very punny when the world wasn't as punny as it is now. And it was just, yeah, the humor was one of the big focuses, but it was also like a Indiana Jones, but like for kids. You know, very Uncharted-like, and that's the reason why, like, I think it would do really well in the market today. Because if they brought it back, they can kind of make it like Nintendo's Uncharted. One thing that I said 2 years ago when I made that video of like, hey, Nintendo, make StarTropics! You know, I had, you know, like, you know, that piece of paper saying like, please, make it come out for the Switch, I'll do anything. The reason why is because I was like on that, you know, Uncharted kick. The Uncharted 4 had just came out, and I was playing it, and it just brought back memories of Mike Jones, like, going through the caves and like finding treasure and, you know, doing all that stuff. You know, like in the game, in the actual manual, you have to like wet it with some water, and then like numbers appear, and that's the code that you put into the thing. Like, it was just like, it was very like, you know, national treasure, like, you know, those types of like feeling. And it's like, man, I really wish Nintendo would bring back this game in this genre. And you know, I was hoping that maybe Mike Jones would be a person that gets released on Super Smash Brothers, and I mean, there could be a possibility. There's still 5 characters that still may come, and it doesn't look like Mike Jones is an assist trophy or anything like that, so it is possible. However, it's like, how popular is StarTropics really? That to me is the real question. I think it's a fantastic game. Everybody that played it, you know, usually says the same thing. It's a fantastic game. But does anybody remember it? Does anybody, like, you know, would there, like, if they release it, would this be a game that would sell? And to me, it's really hard to tell, because, you know, when people bring up like, hey, bring back a franchise, not a lot of people say StarTropics, and so it's like, damn, I really wish that people would mention it more. But, you know, they've been releasing like the Nintendo, the NES Classic has StarTropics on it. I know that they're probably going to be releasing StarTropics for their Switch Online, and if they do it right, it could be marketed well. In my opinion, the biggest, most awesome way to market it is to make it a hidden character, or not hidden character, like a DLC on Super Smash Brothers. Because just like how Fire Emblem came out and they had those characters on Super Smash Brothers, nobody in the US, well, other than the, you know, diehard fans that are online and stuff like that, they didn't know what Fire Emblem was, and it got popular because of Super Smash Brothers, and then they decided to release it here in the US. Kind of like that same concept. You know, maybe in Super Smash Brothers they can have Mike Jones be a character that just gets super popular because everybody's gonna be like, what game is he from? What game? Oh, look at this game, it's freaking awesome. You know, I think that would be awesome. Are they gonna do it? I don't know, but that's a character that could like definitely fit into the mold of Super Smash Bros. I mean, like, just look at his moves, like yo-yo, you know, like the kick with the cleat, baseball bat, you know, like it's built in to Super Smash Bros. I think it would do well. Now, I do think that being, you know, it's punny game, it's very cheesiness, you know, Nintendo could do well with making the game, but I actually think the game would do better if they have another developer do it. And so in my opinion, the only way, or if Nintendo decides to bring this game back, I don't think that their development team is going to do it, because I just don't think they look at it and think it's something that they want to do. However, if they get like Retro Studios to do it, or if they get you know, one of their other, you know, companies that they always do licensing with, if they get another company to try and bring this, revive it, you know, bring it back to life, I think they can do it. Now, how hopeful am I actually for this to actually happen? I'm about 20%, and 20% is actually a huge number when you consider StarTropics has been gone since 1994, and really, you know, Part 2 nobody really cares about, so really since 1990. So like, why do I have so much hope? It's because Nintendo's really on a kick of, like, you know, reviving a lot of stuff in the last couple of years, and I think that this one, especially because they keep on including it with the NES Classic, there's a lot of like small mentions about it, but the only thing that I think that it's, you know, that's not helping is there's not that much feedback telling Nintendo to, you know, say, well, where the hell is Mike Jones? And that's why I like to put it in all these videos and stuff, because I want to get that traction. I love StarTropics. You don't understand, man. But yeah, 20% of it ever coming back, and that's my ever. About 15% coming out on the Switch, I would say, because it has to come out on the Switch if they want it to gain traction. I think if they wait until the next system, you know, that time period is just gonna slip away. And I don't know. Right now, I think it's a good market if they want to have that game come back. I'd like to see Mike Jones return, even if it's a remake of the original, just so they can like start from square one. I would love to see it. I don't know what you guys think, but hey, that's what the comment section is for below, right? So what do you guys think? Do you guys want to see Mike Jones return, and do you want to see him look for his uncle again? Would you want to see a sequel? Would you want to see a remake? I don't know. What would you guys want to see? I think it would be a great game to come out, especially now in this punny world that we're at right now. We'll put bananas in our ears and we'll drink some Coca-Cola and we'll have a blast playing this game. I think it would be great. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching another GameTout. I will see you guys next time for another. Boom, boom. See you later. Ow!